It's that time. MLS time, and I'm Adrian from Rabona TV, your host. And this is of course the MLS review, where we go over all the action from the weekend and point out the top performers, top floppers, and much more. If you're an MLS fan and new to this series, then welcome. Consider subscribing if you enjoy the content, and definitely get in on the action in the comments section. Alright, Toronto kicked off the MLS weekend on Friday. It seems like one Canadian team always plays on Friday, which is weird. But anyway, despite still carrying quite a few injuries and probably some regret from their CONCACAF final, they were still able to roll over Philly with a comfortable 3-0 scoreline. And again, to illustrate their injury problems, Michael Bradley was utilized as a center back for the second match running. Offensively though, if you have Gio, you have no problems, as he picked out Hassler in the 27th minute, who played a perfect squared ball for Vasquez to finish in off the post. Bono didn't have to face too much in this match, but was alert when he did and made a great save to deny Ali Bedoya before the half was up. On the other side of the halftime, however, Osorio handed the ball off to Seba Giovinco, and the Atomic Ant, I still hate that nickname, skinned Jack Elliott alive before squeezing the ball past Blake. Poor Blake, man. Somebody rescue that guy, because he deserves to be playing on one of the top teams. Late on, Blake was beaten again by a Jay Chapman strike that only had eyes for the inside of the post. So, Toronto get their first win in 4 matches as they look to climb up the table quickly after focusing on the Champions League early in the season. Saturday afternoon saw Montreal hosting New England. That's a classic fixture, man. I swear, in my 3 seasons as a Montreal season ticket holder, I felt like the only teams I saw at Stade Saputo were Columbus and New England. But anyways, Montreal came into this one fresh off of 4 consecutive losses, while the Revolution were probably quite content with their place in the standings, considering they have a brand new baby fresh manager and had been playing without their creative spark, Lee Nguyen. He's gone now, in case you missed it, off to LAFC. It took a while for either team to get into it, and even longer to find a goal, but Nacho Piatti sent Anthony Jackson Hamel clear on goal in stoppage time, and while he made a mess of the finish, it squeezed under Matt Turner, so that Montreal was leading at the half 1-0. In the second half, Piatti continued to dominate, setting up Jackson Hamel for his second, and then Raheem Edwards for Montreal's third. Their fourth, well, it was only fair that Nacho got one for himself, finishing 3 minutes after Edwards in the 68th. From there though, Montreal did let themselves down a little bit, allowing Willy Zahibo to score a late brace for a 4-2 final score. Here we go, the New York Derby. One of the marquee matchups occurred over the weekend, and if you're a fan of the team of the Red persuasion, you must have been very happy once again. It wasn't quite at the Red Wedding levels from 2016, in which the Red Bulls thrashed NYCFC 7-0, but it was still pretty bad for the Sky Blues. And it was bad early as Bradley Wright Phillips' shot was saved by Johnson, but Kaku was there right on the doorstep to finish it off. That was his 3rd goal of the season, and not the last time you'd hear from the little Argentinian in this match. As just 2 minutes later, Kaku played Florian Velo through, and his deflected shot bounced up and over a stranded Sean Johnson. 2-0, just 3 minutes and 45 seconds into this one. In the 34th minute, Kaku was at it again, this time delivering a perfect cross to the edge of the 6-yard box for Bradley Wright Phillips to head home. 3-0 after 34 minutes, and that was BWP's 6th of the season from 8 appearances. And finally, in the 79th, Derek Etienne finished off a headed through ball by Valo to put the final nail in the already sealed up tight NYCFC coffin. Domination. So, having played 2 matches less than New York, the Red Bulls are 5 points behind the rivals. Both New York teams are looking very strong this season. The aforementioned Lee Nguyen made his LAFC debut as a substitute against FC Dallas, but couldn't quite find a winner for his team in a 1-1 draw against the draw masters of the MLS, FC Dallas. LAFC took the lead in the 9th minute when Diego Rossi set up Steven Beitashour to finish coolly past Maurer. That was Rossi's 5th assist and Beitashour's first goal for LAFC, and I really like Beitashour, to be honest with you. Every time Montreal played against Toronto, I was always impressed with what he brought and was really surprised Toronto let him go. Maxi Arruti continued his stellar form when in the second half he completely spun Laurent Simon and smashed the ball past Tyler Miller. So, Dallas earned yet another draw this week after getting a taste of defeat last weekend and deciding they hated it. Their 4th draw from 8 matches played. There's not a lot to talk about regarding Seattle versus Columbus, besides Columbus doing well to play some good old-fashioned bunker ball, sitting deep, absorbing pressure, and attempting to counterattack. This was of course partially due to Pedro Sanch receiving a red card in the 15th minute for a wild attempted clearance in which his boot got acquainted with Alex Rodin's head. You can't do that. Despite being down a man, Columbus should have had the lead in the 21st minute when Giassi Zardes blew a golden opportunity, and later, Valenzuela also blew an opportunity over the bar. Oh, excuse me. Basically, that's what this match was all about. Missed opportunities, hence the 0-0 scoreline. Moving on. Allergies, dude. Whoa! Chicago hosted Atlanta on Saturday as they look to build on their 2-2 draw with Toronto from last weekend. And what better way to challenge yourself than to take on one of the hottest teams in the league? Well, Atlanta perhaps provided too much of a challenge as they rolled out as the eventual 2-1 winners. The goals didn't start rolling in until the second half when the newly arrived Ezequiel Barco, who is looking very incredible, by the way, in the attack alongside Martinez and Almiron, scored his first MLS goal when Miguel Almiron, of course, played him through on Richard Sanchez. Bar down, Adrian's favorite kind of finish. Then 4 minutes later, Darlington Nagbe was a nice boy to Joseph Martinez as his generous pass left Martinez with an open goal to finish on for his league-leading 7th goal from 9 matches. 2-0, just like that, as Atlanta's quality began finding gaps in the formerly tight Chicago defense. And the formerly tight Atlanta defense leaked a goal as well, whereby in the 60th minute, just 3 minutes after Atlanta's second, Kevin Ellis's smashed volley into the top corner left Brad Guzan with no chance of saving it. That was Ellis's first goal with the Fire, but unfortunately, it would be his and the Chicago's last in this game, obviously, as it ended 2-1 Atlanta, as I said before. So, with that win and New York's loss, Atlanta has moved into first place in the East, having played one less match than NYCFC. Poor Galaxy fans. With the arrival of Zlatan and the return of Alessandrini from injury, you would forgive them for thinking that they would suddenly have much greater fortunes, but as it stands, their home form is crap, and their away form isn't much better. Perhaps the most crap thing about LA, however, is their defense, as they leaked early on and late as well. The early goal came via a set piece, as the Kyoto Protocol played an inch-perfect ball over the Galaxy defenders that Ale Fuenmayor guided past Bingham. An offside was given initially, but after consulting VAR, the goal stood, and rightfully so. In the 38th minute, Ola Kamara fed his Scandinavian brother Ibra, whose shot was well saved by Joe Willis, but Gio Dos Santos was there to put away the rebound. Gio Dos Santos, the most overrated player in the MLS according to his fellow professionals. But anyways, just after the half, Kyoto was at it again, as his low-driven free kick bounced off of a few feet and found its way into the back of the Galaxy goal to make it 2-1 Houston. The Galaxy got a goal of their own late on in the 85th to make it 2-2 when Ola Kamara put the ball beautifully into the far corner with a flicked finish. So, 2-2, and could this be the start of the turnaround for LA's form? No, it wasn't actually, because just 5 minutes later, their leaky defense was exposed again, as I said before, as what should have been an easy collect from across for Bingham was headed over him by his own defender, went off of the post, and was headed in by Memo Rodriguez. Shout out Memo, by the way, he's been with the Dynamo since he was just 10 years old, apparently. There's something wrong at the root of the LA Galaxy, and Schmidt has had a decent amount of time to turn things around, as well as a decent amount of talent acquisition. 3 losses in a row, 4 losses in their last 5 matches.
Not good. Sorry.
Another team that's simply not good enough these days, the Colorado Rapids, as they lost their 3rd match in a row against the high-flying Sporting Kansas City, who actually have an identical record to their light blue nemesis in the East, NYCFC. Anyways, SKC found the go-ahead goal in the 16th minute when Kyrie Shelton headed off of the post, but the 21-year-old Hungarian bad boy Daniel Shaloi hit the rebound into the roof of the net for his 2nd of the season. He's only 1 goal shy of his career best of 3 goals from last season. For the entirety of the match, Shaloi and Johnny Russell ran riot on the wings, while Shelton continues to be impudent. Just imagine if Kansas had a solid striker. The amount of chances they are able to create is incredible. And the fact that Shelton is on 0 goals from 9 starts so far, that's just ridiculous. Maybe he's just unlucky, as Shaloi says, but I don't know. I don't buy it. This one ended 1-0 as, like I said, Sporting continued to roll over opponents, while Colorado is in the bottom 3 in the Western Conference. San Jose is another team that just hasn't been good enough this season. In fact, they're probably one of the worst teams in the league at this moment, as they are one of 3 teams in the entire league with just a single win. This week, they hosted the consistently improving Portland Timbers, who themselves started the season out winless in their first 5 matches, but have since found their sauce. And in this match, said Sauce appeared just 7 minutes in when Addy banged one off the post. Semi-Sauce, I guess, if you just hit it off the post. But anyways, the closest San Jose came to finding a goal came via a free kick in the 28th, forcing a big save out of Attinella just 3 minutes later. It was a fairly even match, but Portland eventually found the winner in the 88th minute when Diego Valeri continued his incredible form with a curling free kick that found the top corner. That was Valeri's 4th of the season, as he's been involved in 6 goals in his last 5 matches with 4 goals and 2 assists. Minnesota and Vancouver faced off in Soda, as Vancouver looked to continue getting their form back on track. Coming into this, they had won their last match, but had lost the 3 prior to that. But it was never going to be easy against a Minnesota team that, while their record isn't great, have been putting in decent performances. They're a very tricky side to come up against. Very plucky. And that's exactly what they did on this occasion, as Blondell looked dangerous on a few occasions early in the first half. Kendall Waston headed straight at Shuttleworth from 3 yards out, etc., etc. It was one of those matches where you know that all those missed opportunities for Vancouver would come back to bite them in the butt. But in the 50th, they were handed a lifeline when Mason Toye was sent off for elbowing Waston. However, credit to Minnesota, who went ahead in the 60th minute through Miguel Ibarra, who finished off his own rebound. Miguel Ibarra, still one of the best free agent signings of FIFA 15. Vancouver had chances from there, but couldn't find an equalizer. That makes for 2 wins in a row for Minnesota now, while Vancouver stumps to their 4th defeat in their last 5 matches. Come on, man. You gotta turn it around. And finally, Orlando once again came back from a losing position to win 3-1 over Real Salt Lake. Corey Baird put RSL ahead in the 12th minute with a beautiful little dink over Joe Bendik, and the game was on. This one was actually one of the matches of the weekend. Super even, lots of chances either way, neither team able to dominate possession really. All things that I like in a match, well, most people like, I think. RSL was definitely the better team in the first half. But in the second half, Orlando really came alive and really began finishing off their chances, as Sasha Kleiston played a cross into the middle that Dom Dwyer was able to head home, his 6th goal in 6 matches. Then just 3 minutes later, Yoshi Yotun's corner kick found Lamine Sane for his first MLS goal, 2-1 Orlando. But they weren't done there, especially Yotun, as a big rebound off of Nick Raimondo fell to the Peruvian designated player, who made no mistake in slamming the ball into the back of the net. 3-1 Orlando, as they get a club record 6th win in a row. Unbelievable. Just when I thought Christ was finished with Orlando, they go on to do this. It's not as if they don't have the players to do it, by the way, because they definitely do, but 6 wins in a row? No team has done that yet this season. Alright, your favorite segment of the week. For the Rabona TV MLS Player of the Week award, I know some will call it bias, favoritism, nepotism, whatever you want, but I gotta give it to Nacho Piatti, and I think you'll agree. One of the most criminally underrated players in the entire league, Piatti scored 1 and set up 3, taking part in every single one of Montreal's goals against New England. On what was his 100th MLS appearance, he was easily the star of the match, and speaking of which, after 100 appearances, he has 52 goals and 27 assists. Not too shabby. Alright guys, another weekend finished. Don't forget there will be some midweek matches on Wednesday this week, so be sure to double check when your team plays next because you may get a little surprise and you don't want to miss it. If you enjoyed this video, then help us out by dropping a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see ya in tomorrow's video. Later!